enlightened donor aid officials who believed in agriculture's potential to lift the continent from poverty, yet realized that this will only be achieved if the continent's weak and fragmented agricultural research systems could somehow be brought together and strengthened under a common banner. FARA was then voted into existence in 1997 by the sub-regional organizations. FARA serves as the entry point for agricultural research initiatives designed to have a continental reach or a subcontinental reach spanning more than one sub-region. For Dr. Akinbamijo, Africa and indeed Nigeria should focus more on improving its productivity.
The people selling food to our continent, they do it because of two things. The first is what I call the biological advantage, which is science, and the second is the mechanical advantage, which is also science. Fancy this, today we are in Ibadan. You look at how food gets to Ojaoba market here in Ibadan. It's being produced by people under the sun, laboring with hoes and cutlasses in 21st century Africa. That is unacceptable. And we can never outpace our exporting countries. If they are using, as our 21st century, they are using tractors, combine harvesters. Don't tell me that we are going to catch up with them with hoes and cutlasses in the next 100 years. It will just not work out. And the second thing is the biological advantage. If people are still planting grains instead of seeds, those from who we import, they use not just seeds, they use quality seeds. And people know the difference between a seed and a grain. You eat your grain and plant your seeds. But in Africa, what do? We still plant grains. And that's why our productivity remains as poor as it is. My narrative is, do we need science? If yes, do we have science? So our question today is that we are still so low in the rung that we should not get distracted.
African agriculture and agribusiness are estimated to be worth $1 trillion by 2030, and foreign direct investment in agriculture are projected to grow from less than $10 billion in 2010 to more than $45 billion in 2020. This, experts say, demonstrates the potential of agriculture to generate significant income for Africa.
But when you look at it from the other perspective, you see that there are great opportunities, things that can be done to really make agriculture not just about the farming alone. It's all about the farming, it's about the value chain development, about the market channels, it's about the processing. And even if you are doing farming, if you have a small plot of land, a farmer, let's say in a place where a farmer has only 1 acre of land, and this farmer is spending all his energy or her energy growing 2 crops of maize a year. I mean, what do you get out of 2 crops of maize? You harvest 2 crops of maize for that land, you may get your little food for a number of times. But if you do real thinking, you can ask yourself, what is the best I can get from this piece of land? And it will come to the point where you can say, if I can grow vegetables for the market on this same plot of land, I can make 3 times, 4 times what I'm making from maize. But you have a situation where a farmer, they know this is my maize, this is my culture, and that's what they are cultivating. And scientists have to be able to get to the field, and that's why, you see, if I am a scientist coming to you from a maize research institution, my objective is just to come to make you grow maize. But if I come there with a broader, holistic systems perspective, we are looking at your situation and we are asking ourselves, how can we make things better? It's about livelihoods, and what are the better opportunities for livelihoods? And so you identify these hidden avenues, you look at these interactions aimed at making things better ultimately for the farmers who are there.
While there is still a lot left to be done, the transformation of Nigeria's agricultural sector may have indeed begun, but analysts are of the opinion that a lot more still needs to be done, with many seriously perturbed by the dwindling price of crude and the ensuing economic challenge. Many organizations, such as the Food and Agriculture Organization, African Development Bank, including the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, warn that food crop production in Nigeria has not been in consonance with the rate of population growth, which is largely responsible for the staggering figures about food import every year. The fact is that the statistics are growing by the day.
Take a look at Brazil. Brazil has 200 million people. Nigeria has 180 million. That's just a difference of 20 million. And in terms of natural endowments, we are basically the same. I mean, they've got the Amazon. We've got humid chunks of our Guinea savanna. That is enough to actually feed Nigeria and beyond. So in terms of natural endowments, we are the same level. But today, Brazil went from a situation of 60% food insecurity in a space of 30 years into a situation of 200%. So if Brazil did it, Nigeria can do it. India did it, Nigeria can do it. China did it in a space of 40 years. We can do it. There is no way we will do it without science. There is no way we'll do it without government will. There's no way we'll do it without a concerted effort from all the stakeholders. But, I mean, the how is not for one person to actually decide. But the question that I am more eager to answer is, can we? And I say, yes, we can. It's possible, it's doable, it's attainable, it's achievable. But how do we do it? It is going to be a joint responsibility of everybody across the value chain, from the government, the highest level, to the lowest person on the rung.
The sector, if given adequate attention and allocation of resources, has the potential to generate billions of naira as revenue from export and create employment opportunities for millions of farmers in the country and attract direct foreign investments. If the African leaders fail to take a critical look at the Maputo Declaration with a view to implementing the recommendations, many experts have warned that we may be heading to a future where food security will be unrealizable and food crisis will do more damage in the country and Africa at large.
When we look at the landscape of food security generally, I think we are still not yet there. It's not yet Uhuru. There's still room for a lot of improvements in empowering our small-scale farm holders who are the real producers of the food that we eat, so that they can better adapt to a changing climate, so that they can have better productivity with little inputs and implements that they use, and also getting them the much needed information on time.
The Nigerian situation is like reversing a 20-ton trailer going down the hill. We must give a lot of compliment to the government for what they've done so far. The kind of records we are seeing in the agriculture sector in this country, they are unprecedented. So we must give that to the government. We must give that to the Minister of Agriculture. So we cannot expect a 180-degree turnaround overnight. No, that would be a shock that will actually shock the system to death. But so far, what Nigeria is doing, I think, is commendable, and Nigeria should keep on track, and I will encourage everybody to support this kind of growth. I mean, this is the only way when we talk about an agriculture-led growth, an inclusive growth. This is it.
According to the Food and Agriculture Organization, growth in agriculture is 11 times more effective in reducing poverty than growth in other sectors in sub-Saharan Africa. This means the opportunity for development returns in agriculture are high. However, the current challenge facing the sector is beyond what the small-scale farmers in the country can deal with on their own.
Security will probably be more effective when agricultural produce are more available to people, because crimes tends to have scarcity, tends to bring about crime. So why don't we spend money on availability of food for our people? And that's why I said social security is key. When the social security is key, and food is one of the major things that drive social security, that means you're talking about spending more on the security and buying arms and ammunition. Why don't we look towards the social security of producing giving farmers good incentives that makes them to be able to produce food crops for all of us. And in that way, you're reducing even the the security issue that you're spending so much on. So we should take another look and think out of the box. Why do we need so much money on hams? Why don't we spend so much money in supporting small-scale farmers that produces 80% of the food we eat in this country?
The key to achieving global food security, according to experts, is to increase the yield of current agricultural lands, but in a manner that ensures that the natural resources are sustainable and resilient in a changing world. The fact is, sustainable agriculture can benefit from systems approaches and farmers' participation. And only through this can farming feed more people more sustainably. That's our program for today. Do join us next time if you could. But in the meantime, should you have any comment or question, our inbox at file@channelstv.com is always available. From all of us here, it's bye for now.